This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you're leading people right now and it feels heavier and more out of control or more confusing than it used to, let me assure you that it's not just you. This is a topic of discussion all around these days. A lot of leaders are realizing that the way they were taught to lead doesn't work the same way anymore. The strategies, the expectations, the pressure to keep things moving and hold everything together. And leadership didn't suddenly get harder. The environment has changed, and leaders are feeling that shift every day. And they might not know how to put words to it. But if you've been paying attention, you've noticed that a pattern has been building. We hear a lot every single day about burnout, mental health, conflict, and disengagement at work. And these issues didn't suddenly appear out of nowhere. People have always been affected by stress, long hours, lack of support, unclear expectations. It's just that many carried it quietly and just kept going. And over time, those patterns build up. So what was managed privately began showing up more openly. Performance started slipping, communication started becoming ineffective, turnover started rising, and energy levels started tanking. When something goes unaddressed for a long time, it eventually will demand attention. And isn't that kind of shitty? Like, do we really have to wait for things to get so loud and out of control before we decide that something needs to change? And the answer to that is no, we don't have to, but that's what we do. It's that squeaky wheel concept. It's the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. It's the nothing's on fire, so everything must be fine, or let's just power through and deal with it later philosophy. Well, now look at what we've created by being apathetic. It's problems that we don't know how to solve. So let's talk about the load that leaders have been carrying. Most leaders that I work with have been carrying a lot for years. Responsibility for results, responsibility for people, pressure from above, expectations from all directions. And many of us learned how to push through and stay steady for everybody else. That way of operating helped them succeed for a long time. Now they're leading teams who are more open about their stress, their exhaustion, and their overwhelm. And leaders are being asked to hold space for things that they were really never taught how to manage. So that weight adds up. Let's talk about the nervous system piece. Something that rarely shows up in leadership training is nervous system awareness. How leaders handle stress affects everything. Their tone, their timing, their reactions, their presence. Teams take cues from this constantly. So when leaders are tense, rushed, or reactive, teams feel it. People become guarded. Communication tightens. Creativity drops. Everyone stays on edge. Many leaders were never taught how to notice these patterns in themselves or how to support regulation on their teams. That skill matters more now because stress levels are higher and people aren't hiding them anymore. So you might be wondering what people respond to today. Well, I'll tell you. People respond well to leaders who are steady and clear. And that means leaders who communicate expectations without frantic urgency. It's leaders who stay present and calm when things get uncomfortable. It's leaders who don't escalate stress during challenging times. That kind of leadership creates an environment where people are primed to think, collaborate, and problem solve. It supports trust and consistency, which directly impact performance and employee satisfaction every single day, all day long. So let's talk about why leaders feel stuck. Many leaders sense that something needs to change, but they aren't sure what that shift looks like or how to do it. It's a conflict that they don't have a clue how to manage, or they think it shouldn't even be a thing in the first place. So if that uncertainty or disregard makes them too uncomfortable, They'll either steamroll over the team or avoid the discomfort completely. They were trained for a different pace of work and a different leadership culture. And the demands today require skills that weren't part of that training. And without those tools, leadership can feel frustrating and exhausting. This is a change they didn't intend to sign up for when they accepted that promotion into leadership. So I want you to know how I can help leaders and teams. This is the work I do. I help leaders understand what's happening under the surface in themselves and in their teams. We focus on stress patterns, communication during pressure and change, and creating environments where people can function well over time. Leaders gain more steadiness, teams feel safer, trust strengthens, and performance becomes more sustainable. My work can add skills that many leaders were never given earlier in their careers, and fractured teams really need this help. So let me give you an example of some things that you can do. So before your next meeting, before a hard conversation, before you respond to an email that raises your blood pressure, try this. Sit back in your chair. Place both feet on the floor. Take a slow breath in through your nose for a count of 4. Pause briefly at the top. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Do that 3 times. Then gently press your feet into the floor and notice the support underneath you. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. This takes only about 1 minute. It shifts your body out of urgency and into steadiness. And when you regulate yourself first, your communication changes, your tone softens, your timing improves, your presence feels calmer, and your team will feel that shift, even if nothing else changes. Here are 3 things that you can do today. You don't need a full overhaul to lead better right now. Small changes in how you show up make a real difference. So the first one is to slow the room down. Pay attention to pace. Notice how fast you're talking. Notice how quickly you move through agendas. Notice whether there's space for people to think before responding. Slowing the pace helps people stay engaged and it reduces stress. It creates clarity instead of urgency. And meetings become more productive because people can actually process what's happening. The second one is to name what you see without fixing it immediately. So when tension shows up, acknowledge it. You can say things like, "This feels heavy. There's a lot on the table today. I can tell this is stressful for some of us." You don't need solutions in that moment. Naming the experience helps people feel seen, and it lowers defensiveness. It opens the door for more honest communication and better collaboration. And then model regulation, not perfection. Your team is watching you, and they watch how you handle pressure. When you pause before responding, when you admit that you need a moment, when you stay grounded during challenges. That modeling teaches your team how to do the same. It builds trust, and it creates a much more stable environment where people can do good work consistently. Leadership today is shaped by presence, steadiness, and awareness. So small shifts in how you regulate yourself and lead your team can change the entire dynamic. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to start showing up differently. And this is where meaningful leadership begins. If you'd love to have more tips, skills, tricks, and resources, make sure you're following me on all the socials and sign up for my email list. I have a full library full of free resources I've created just for email subscribers. The link to all of this goodness is in the show notes and in all of the bios of my social profiles. Remember this, you're in this leadership role for a reason. Things change and shift with the times, and so can you. It's not intimidating because you can't do it. It's intimidating because it feels new. And you've got this. So until next time, please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, If you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.